Regarding the compensation measures, especially oriented to water use, what do you think? I understand that this should be solved through public consultation, public participation, but what do you think, briefly, about payment for ecosystem services or offsets, or compensation by offsets?
I think in terms of water use, Mexico alone don't have so much experience on payback or offset techniques applied to large or mega projects or even a micro basin level. But the studies to determine which are the most important environmental services in terms of forest and mainly forest, because the aquatic services are still in its infancy, as Rosalia said. So I don't have more experience on that, so maybe.
Well, actually, as WBCSD, we're not really working on offsets and compensation, but well, it's the last stage of the mitigation hierarchy. So, this is I guess beneficiary anyway, because there's some impacts. There are some impacts that you can't avoid, and this helps reduce. Overall, the impact of the project, if you compensate or offset your residual impacts. That's all I can say from a business perspective.
Okay, we'll move to our next question.
Thanks very much. I found all those presentations very, very interesting. Kamal Governor from ERM. A question to anyone really who can respond. In terms of a balance between ecosystem functions and ecosystem services, is there some sort of threshold that can be defined? And I'm thinking, if we just use a river as an example, we can harness it and tame it and use it solely for the services it provides to society in terms of power or water supply, and yet possibly cross a threshold where its functions as a river and is compromised. Is there any way to define a threshold or to understand that balance a bit better?
Who would like to answer that question?
I think that the most important difference between the functioning thresholds and the ecosystem services are that the first ones are the natural boundaries in which you can lose the ecosystem services. So from the functioning point of view, it is important to identify in which thresholds you are losing the ecosystem service that you intend to conserve or preserve. So I think that is the most important difference for me.
I would just like to add into this question that for us, having worked from the very top of the watershed to downstream, what we have succeeded is to declare the first clean watershed in our country, meaning that no one is putting garbage or wastewater into the creeks, and that has increased the functions of water services in this particular ecosystem. The problem is with and that's why I can jump in to answer the previous one on the payment of the water services. It is Because as we are increasing the quality of life of people receiving clean water and for the whole year and not only the 3 months of rain, the problem that there is a major benefit for these villagers, but the problem is that they are also poor villagers, and so they are not ready, they are not capable of paying for this increase on the service. And what we are measuring is the threshold has been increased from starting from 7 liters per person per day to reach 150 liters per person per day. That's the way we approach to this, but we cannot cover the cost of, the people cannot cover the cost of this function and service that they are receiving from the watershed already clean.
Okay, 2 more very quick questions, and then I think.
And I think this situation is also related with the wastewater discharge, because the payment for water purification is not included in the water payment. So it's difficult for the river when the threshold of self-purification is up, and the ecosystem services is not possible to purify the water, even if the river runs a long distance. So and the volume is increasing, but the load is too high.
Well, my question is for Mr. Hernandez about how has been the experience with the villagers who are receiving these benefits. Because, well, sometimes here in Mexico it's difficult to teach these kind of people to really take care of it and see the benefit beyond the monetary expenses. And, well, I wanted to know which is their opinion about this program, how has been the experience of working on it.
I thank you for this question because it's crucial. We didn't go with the water program for villagers. We had no idea what would be our approach. We just put ourselves, our lives, at the services of the villagers. And so we start asking them, what is the cause, the root cause of your poverty? And nature is very wise and gave us 2 eyes and 2 ears and just 1 mouth. And for social promoters, that's the balance you have to keep. You have to be observing and listening at least the double of what you will be talking to the people. So we were ready to receive their guidance. And it was them, ladies and farmers, men, that will tell us that we should address the water problem. That was the first most important aspect. From that strong basement, then we started to search which kind of technologies would be of use. And then all the farmers, when we were presenting the different options, they were selecting, oh, this is what my grandfather did, and this is what the old villagers did. And so they were happy that we didn't come up with an external solution, but we came up with the rescue of their own wisdom on watershed management and the technologies that they already had, but with this strong reinforcement by modern technology. And finally, once we started, the first dam was so difficult, so complex, because the government didn't want us to do that and so on, that it was after the water was already there that all villagers around started to visit Santa Maria la Alta, the first village, to say, is it true that they already have water? Is it really true? And it became like a pilgrimage route for all the Mixteca region to go and see if it is true that if you get organized and you stop the flow of the rain water course, then you will have water all the whole year. And then it became easy to finalize the question, the answer. It became easy because it was not us convincing the people that they should do something, but they will be pushing us to do it faster.
So